this is the catch. It's duos. Do you have somebody you can count on or that you know could cook and you've cooked together before? And I was like, yes, absolutely. The first person to come to mind, it was Trey.
Wow. You have any smokers? Oh, quite a few. How many smokers you got, Kevin?
I have a total of 20 now.
I've only got 5, but I mean, still a lot.
Your life's been crazy here lately.
Yeah, it has. It has been quite crazy.
Welcome, guys.
Let's just talk about where you're from originally. Yeah, just tell me where you grew up here in North Carolina.
I grew up in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. I was born and raised there till I was about 10 years old. And then I moved here to Carteret County to live with my aunt and uncle.
Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at West Carteret High School.
Okay.
My aunt and uncle were both working at that high school. My uncle was a teacher, my aunt was the principal secretary. So it was like, yeah, you're not going to East Carteret because we can't keep an eye on you.
Sound like you were a handful when you were growing up.
Oh, a little bit, a little bit.
You got to high school, then what happened?
I went into the Navy, did 4 years there, and then turned around and came back and pursued a fire and EMS career.
What was it about fire and EMS that you liked so much?
I think it's because my mother was a nurse at the time, and my dad was a volunteer firefighter as well back when I was younger. And it was just something in the blood. I mean, and it reminds me a lot of being in the military. There's a brotherhood there. And when you have that, and you truly have it, there's nothing like it. It's like a family.
Tell me about being in the military. Where were you stationed?
I was stationed in San Francisco, and then I was put on 2 different ships. I was on the USS Carl Vinson, and I was on the USS Flint.
Where did you end up on those ships?
I was a damage control firefighter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where did those ships sail to? Did they go around the world?
Yeah, so I went to Westpac, which is over to Australia, Japan, Alaska, up and down the West Coast, and Hawaii.
So you were doing the fire stuff even in the military?
Yes,
then?
yes.
All right, that's cool. Time comes up in the military. Why did you get out?
Got out because it just wasn't for me. I really wanted to be back home. I am a country boy at heart. Just wanted to be back this way and figure out my life. I still wanted to do that career, but I just didn't. Military wasn't for me at the time.
All right. Where did you end up? What was your first job once you got out of the military?
So my first job was actually working as a line cook, honestly. I was trying to figure out life and where I was going to work, and then I was a night auditor at a hotel. When that didn't work and just being too much, I was like, you know what? This fire and EMS career is what I need to do.
Yeah.
So then I got my certifications, went to school, and once I got those, then I got my first job at Halifax County EMS.
And then you've been kind of moving around ever since. Tell me some of the places you've worked.
Yeah, so I've worked for Roanoke Valley Rescue as a firefighter and rescue operator, Halifax County EMS. I've worked for several departments in the EMS world as part-time, but I've worked fire departments such as Havelock Fire, Morehead City Fire, which is a great privilege. I was there for right at 10 years. I currently work for Carteret County EMS now full-time, and I work part-time with Pine Knoll Shores Fire Department.
Wow. A lot of the resume. All right, where did cooking come into all of this?
So in the firehouse, I mean, we have to eat. So one of the things they talk about, and it's all over the place, is that most of the time when you talk about fire departments, it has to do with some sort of eating. So I got to cooking for these guys, and I watched their faces and how it brought all of us together. When we're sitting at that table together, and the camaraderie and the goodness of the food, and we're just able to forget whatever problems we had, and it just put smiles on everybody's faces, I fell in love with it. And I never thought in a million years I would find something I was more passionate about than being a firefighter in EMS. And I guess it's like I told some people a little while ago, you know, for this big opportunity that's coming up, that one of my favorite things is that I feel like I'm going from saving people's lives to feeding their souls.
What did you find you were good at cooking outside of the spiritual? What were you good at?
Oh, I was good at barbecuing. Anything smoking or anything to that nature, it came second nature to me. When I picked up on it over 20 some years ago now, it's been amazing. Like I just picked up on it, started doing it, researched. You know, everybody did the YouTube and stuff back then, and it was one of those, let me find out how to do this the right way. So I went for it, and when I started doing it, I ended up getting with some great people and started doing a few competitions here and there. I ended up going to some barbecue schools and actually getting certifications of being a pit master. And then when that happened, it was like no holds barred.
Do you have a specialty with pork, chicken, beef? Do you have a meat that you like to work with?
Yeah, pork. I love working with pork, of course. I mean, it's a North Carolina staple in this. You can't eat anywhere without pork being on the menu. But I love all of it. And I guess one of the things that got me the most is that I wanted to round myself out a little bit better by putting myself through culinary school as well. So I wanted to enhance this and do it right.
So when did you go to culinary school?
So about 3 years ago now, I think it was, I ended up finishing 2 years ago. Yeah, 1.5 years ago, something like that. Yeah, it was a year and a half in culinary school.
Where was it?
Escoffier, Augusta Escoffier.
So your firefighting's your career, and cooking was your passion, basically.
Yeah.
All right, and so these two are kind of going along here. What was kind of your long-term plan when you're thinking about firefighting's going to come to an end at some point, or EMS is going to come to an end at some point?
Yeah, so I knew my career was going to come to an end sometime or another, and I wanted to make sure that I had some kind of backup plan. I couldn't think of anything better than, like I said, the cooking. So I had this goal and vision of having a food truck or a trailer. So I ended up meeting with some great people, figuring some stuff out, and ended up having a great friend of mine reach out to me and offer to help me get this food trailer. Got my first food trailer. We were in business. I got it, well, I guess it's over a year ago now. It was in October, got it, and then by the time April rolled around the following year, April of last year, I ended up going to cook for a charity event for this same gentleman, and an explosion happened and burned me pretty bad and put me in UNC burn center. Evidently, the pig smoker that we were using to help cook some other stuff, we had like 2 other ones going at the same time. This other one didn't have the proper amount of vent holes, and evidently the pressure had built up in it. And as I'm running back and forth trying to get my trailer going for somebody else to use, I came back to it and noticed that the temperature was down. So I was like, oh great, must have went out. When I opened it, it wasn't out. A backdraft happened and it blew the lid off of it and blew me back at least about 10 feet. And it burnt the whole left side of my face, my entire left arm, and down my neck. I remember a little bit of it. I remember a lot of it when I was trying to get cleaned off before the EMS and fire department came and got me. Once that happened and I got to the ER, I was in so much pain I don't remember too much after that. It was kind of a blur being rushed to UNC Chapel Hill. That I remember a lot of. That was excruciating. I've taken many patients to that hospital and watched them debrief somebody from being burned, and when they're doing it to you, it's a whole nother level. First time in 27 years I'd ever been burned. I mean, I've burned my finger on a grill or cooking in a pan or something, but never, ever like that.
So I'm sure that the rehab must have been surgeries. Did you have any surgeries?
Yeah, I had 2 surgeries where they went in and debrided everything with a Dremel and stuff.
A Dremel, a tool?
Like, it looks like a Dremel and has like 1,000 razor blades on the end of it, and they go in and they take the layer of skin off the top of the burn part, and they go in and they did it twice.
Were you on painkillers or pain?
Yep. I was they put me under anesthesia for that part, thank God. But yeah, and it was a lot of rehab. It was a lot of dressing changes. It was, I honestly thought my life was over. I think one of the things that was going through my mind a lot was about, was my life over? Was everything going to end? You know, my 28, 29 year career in the fire service, was that completely over? My dream of having a food truck, was that over as well? It just kept replaying in my mind what was going to happen next.
All right, so you had to pick a partner. How did you choose your guy?
So as soon as she told me it was duos, you know, she's like, "Hey, this is the catch. it's duos. Do you have somebody you could count on or that you know could cook and you've cooked together before? And I was like, yes, absolutely. The first person to come to mind, it was Trey. And, Trey Wade and I met when we were in the band, and I was a medic for the band at ECU. He was a student. And I had to recruit the whole band to help me propose to my wife that year. So I got him to help because he already knew everybody in the band. So he helped me do all that. He helped me stage the whole where they circled him with the videos out there on YouTube and everything of the whole proposal. So it was one of those things that was a no-brainer.
Trey and Kevin.
Let's go. We're gonna kick some butt. We don't think we can win. We know we can win. And we're gonna go in, we're gonna get our aprons after we execute this dish flawlessly.
Right.
When I was a young college student, this guy was my grandpa. He's 20 years older than me. So he took care of me, cooked for me, and I went under his wing and started cooking with him, and here we are.
Hey, Kev, you bring a step stool?
No, I think I just use my foot and give him a boost.
How he doesn't make a man. I'll show you with my dish, don't worry. We are doing a lovely filet mignon, some creamy mashed potatoes, roasted heirloom carrots, and a brandy peppercorn sauce.
You guys paid a lot of attention to the details, the technique. You can see it all on the plate. It's spot on.
Thanks, Jets.
Thank you.
Again, what's happening?
I'm not too attuned to all this cooking stuff. So.
Yeah, so these are boneless pork chops. They are a butcher's grade. So if you look at them, they actually have a lot more marbling on the inside of them. So it's going to make it, marbling is good because it gives fat. Fat means flavor.
Yeah.
So it's just offering a lot more flavor to it. So basically all I'm doing is doing salt and pepper. Just basic, you want the flavor of the meat. I'm going to pat that in really good. And of course do both sides. And don't worry about it getting on the board. So what you want to do is make sure you get the sides as well. Let those rest. Of course, always wash your hands.
The one thing I've always noticed about cooking is patience, and that's what I don't have. I do not have the patience for cooking.
Yeah, it does. It takes a lot of patience to be a cook. It takes a lot of patience to do a lot of jobs, but I guess you have to have patience dealing with the public and fire and EMS as well. Yeah. And the public needs you. They need you to be there. They need you to do things. Yeah. So what we'll do is set this over to the side. Grab another cutting board. Can never have too many of these.
No, I know that. Here we go. Here comes the action.
Sometimes it's not so great if they're in the way and you have a certain way you do things. But like being on the show, this one is totally different from what they've normally done. It's called Dynamic Duos. And you had to bring a partner, which was really wild. Like when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is cool. This is different. This is the first time they've ever done that. So I called up a buddy of mine that I've watched through the years. It's been 15 years now that we've known each other, and helped me propose to my wife at ECU. He used to come sleep on my couch when he was a student there, and I would cook on the smoker and cook in the kitchen, and he would watch me, ask me, what am I doing? How am I doing that? Why did I do that? And then he got to be grown himself, has a kid of his own, got married to one of my wife's sorority sisters, and has been cooking up a storm since then, on top of what his job is. He's in the spirit industry. Wow. So when I saw his plating and stuff and how we cooked together and we met at some barbecue events, I was like, hey, okay, yeah. Do you want to go with me and help cook? What do you mean help cook? And then I told him what it was for. And I thought I had offered that man $1 million and that he was going to live out the rest of his life on some kind of fantasy island. Yeah. He was excited and it was amazing. He just knew, we knew it was going to be fun just to cook with each other on something like that.
So basically, you were the one who was hired for the show. You just brought him along for the ride.
Exactly. What happened was that I applied for the show. Like I said, I wanted to be on Generations. That was a cool season. I thought that would be pretty wild to go against millennials and baby boomers and stuff like that. But I didn't make it in time, and it wasn't submitted in time, and I didn't fit it. I guess it's just I wasn't what they were looking for. With the dynamic duos, when she told me what it was like, oh wow, oh okay, so we're going to do a lot of people. And she was like, yep, you just need to find somebody that you cooked with before and that matches your cooking style. You both can do some things, but also some fun. Have some fun with. So well, you get pick the right people for that. I guess I could have done some of this prep work.
Ah, you're good. One of the things I noticed, you kept your tattoos, but they're faded on your right arm, on your left arm, right?
Yeah, they are. The tattoo on my left arm was pretty expensive. Had to be different sittings and different times and stuff, but yeah, you can see pretty much where the burn happened. All of this. Yeah. And this watch actually saved my wrist. You can see the color differentiation.
Really? Wow.
And then my hand, of course, you can see where the burn is.
What was that? What's that tattoo? What's the significance of it?
So that tattoo actually represents quite a bit. It is the nautical map, with this being, of course, the nautical star. And this actually has the date of, or not the date, but the latitude and longitude of where we got married. Oh. And then the fire department flag up top with the thin red line. Yep. So, and of course my Navy stuff here.
Okay. Can you or will you be able to get that redone?
So we asked and asked and asked, and basically they said it's pretty much up to me if we do it. So, and I was like, yes, I want to redo it. I don't want it to look stupid. And I don't like the discoloration, and it gets to you. You know, you don't want to look like a freak or feel like you feel like a freak, I guess you should say. But after looking at it, and they made some good points, is that if I tried to go in and do it up and redo it, all it's going to be is the lines. So it's going to look, the skin is still going to be red and off colored and burnt looking, and it's just going to have dark. So it's not going to match this anymore. So basically it's one of those things, you know what? I'm going to embrace what happened to me, leave it the way it is, and just go about it.
Success story is always somebody who helps make it possible.
Yep. She was my saving grace.
Behind the scenes.
I mean,
Never thought it'd be beneficial to marry a nurse.
yeah.
Although he did scold me, saying that he hopes I don't treat my patients that way when I make them get up off the chair and move around.
But you're so much of the story, right? His partner is met through you, right? I mean,
Yep. See, I honestly would not have gotten these good knife skills without going to culinary school. They actually taught me this, and You know, I did mine online. So it's kind of hard sometimes for me to even refer myself as a chef.
Right.
Because I didn't have to sit in a classroom. But in all honesty, I would love to be able to afford to actually go to a culinary school and get a master's degree in culinary arts.
Do you have a place, ideal place you'd like to go?
Honest to God, I would like to finish through a Escoffier. So if I could go to Boulder, Colorado, where my online courses were going through, that would be great. Because they are ones that actually offer a master's program.
All right, she was feeding you. Did you have any complaints from the chef?
There was a lot of DoorDash.
There was a lot of DoorDash. There was a lot of DoorDash. There was a lot of, hey, can somebody bring us something to eat? You know, can we do this?
Look,
It was great.
My best friend fed us a lot. They live behind us. And she cooks a lot. She fed us a lot.
That's awesome.
You remember the first thing you cooked when you finally got well enough to do it?
Chicken thighs.
Chicken thighs. I did. Yeah, I did chicken thighs. We did them out on the smoker. Yeah, we
Because
did
I
them
have
out on the
pictures of
smoker.
you.
Yep.
He was very skittish about relighting the grill. So I actually have pictures of him because I tried to document the whole, like, what I could throughout the whole injury and the recovery, because a lot of it he wouldn't remember initially, and then the stuff he would remember, I wanted him to see, like, how far he came from where we were. And
Yeah.
I mean, because he had to get out of his own head, and he had to get out of his own way, and he did. He pushed himself, and he went out there that day, and he said he wanted to make chicken thighs, so we got chicken thighs, and I remember him going out. He went out about 4 times before he ever touched the grill. And then when he did, he was like stepped off to the side, kind of leaning across to turn it on, and I was like, I don't know how it was gonna work.
Have you got it in your mind now? You kind of, you know what to look for that went wrong, or was it just so fluke you could never even spot something like that again?
Yeah, I guess you could look at it as that you learn something from everything you do. It may not be all of it, but something. And I guess I learned that don't always trust that burner or that temperature gauge or something of that nature. Look around it as well. With something like that, I mean, it was a fluke accident. I mean, honestly, I mean, it's not like somebody planned it, went to it and goes, hey, you know, let's turn the burner up to high and make it look like it's going out.
There was also factors that day. It was really windy, and the wind was coming from behind him, so he couldn't sense that there was extra propane built up because you couldn't smell it, you couldn't see it. So it was kind of a series of unfortunate events that just all happened at the same time that led to. And honestly, when they came and told me it happened, I was across the field, and the guy whose event it was came over and told me, and I said, you're lying. He said, no. He said, I'm serious. And I took off. As soon as that point, I took off, but and I ran inside and found him in the shower, but I knew there was a trail of belongings from the grill all the way into the house.
Did your training kick in? Were you calm, or were you?
Shockingly, it didn't hit me until it happened on Saturday, and Monday was his surgery. And it wasn't until the surgeon called me and told me how the surgery went and that he was good and that they didn't have to do like skin to skin grafts, they were able to do other grafts. And until then, I don't think it actually hit me what happened. Which I'm thankful, because I was able to get everything that needed to be taken care of that day, make phone calls, and then just be good for him until that point, and be supportive and be an advocate for him, because I know the hospital side of things where he doesn't. So when they would come and ask certain questions and want to do certain things, I could say, yeah, let's do that or let's not, and be that go-between. And then I could let it slip on Monday and let it all sink in.
I was gonna say, we all have to go through that moment, right?
Yeah.
You know, processing. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, what are you cooking there? Are those the apple chunks?
Yep, so what I'm making here is a apple puree. And we learn in culinary school, and sometimes when you're even not in culinary school, that one of the best things that goes with pork is fruit. That's why they use apple wood or cherry wood or any kind of a fruit wood to actually do pork with, because it gives it a lot more flavor. Apples go great with pork. I guess one of the northern things that I found out being married to a northerner is that they like to take their pork chops and dip it in applesauce.
Don't judge, it's good.
So I was like, okay, so one of the technical things that you learn in school as well is sauces, purees, and stuff like that, which actually complement a lot of dishes. There's a lot more to it. Sometimes they're just as simple, and sometimes they're very complex. It didn't even have MasterChef logo, none of that stuff on it.
Yeah.
Because they basically said, like, we don't want it to leak out.
It is literally the most boring water bottle.
If people got aprons,
The only keepsake from the show. Kevin, were you really on the show, Kevin?
yeah, I know, right? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Did you guys have to share that water bottle? Both the names?
No.
Okay, all right.
But they did have our name, both names on it, because it was dynamic duos.
Yeah.
And then your name was underneath.
So your Cooper Webb thing up there. You're a Cooper Webb guy.
Yeah. My son used to actually race with him and everything before he got big. His dad, Cooper's dad, actually did the sponsorship for the surf team at West Carteret High School with Action. He actually helped do a lot of the boards and stuff like that.
Yeah, he does something like that, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he does a lot of stuff like that. He always gave back to the community, which is great.
What's Bobby's business? What does he do down there?
Down here?
Yeah, Bobby Webb. What was his business?
He was a surfboard shaper.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he had a Action Surf Shop.
Action Surf Shop.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yep.
I couldn't remember how, like, I knew you knew Coop because of
Yep.
the boys, and his mom
I actually took
got
care.
that jersey about that wreck.
Yeah, I actually took care of her. She was in a bad wreck right there on that bridge in Newport.
That was his mom, Trey?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And hit that bridge. Yeah.
You do much with fish, being a...
Oh yes, yes. I love cooking with fish. It's one of my probably third favorite things to cook is fish. Yeah, any kind of seafood. Love scallops. That's one of my biggest appetizers. Love to do that. Shrimp. But fish, man, I love fish. We took a trip to Alaska, and I wish we could get halibut here a lot better. Halibut is one of the best fish I've ever cooked with and ate in my entire life. And I like tuna.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, we got some good tuna here.
He does this when he cooks dinner. And I call it him being bougie when he makes dinner.
Presentation.
You're not getting any.
Even this the chef says, wow. Dude.
Dude. Yeah.
Not too bad, huh?
I'm going back for more.